Well, good day, everyone, here on YouTube's. I am RWP, the Real World Prepper. So I started reading a few days ago Steve Smith's newest book, Steve Smith at Integrated Preparedness, also American Reversion, YouTube channels. Most of you guys here probably know who he is, probably already watch, and probably already know that he is an author, among other things. So The Blessings of Freedom, which is book 5 in his Stonemont series, a series about the collapse of modern civilization, and then how it looks a few years out. Some people doing well, prospering in a new way of doing things without a lot of the technology and different things and government structures, and how some are not doing as well, so on and so forth. But anyway, it's a very, very, very good read, very interesting. I enjoy them. I've enjoyed all of them, and I'm enjoying book 5. But what it brings me to is the thought that, and they've posed this question, the characters in the books have posed this question throughout several of the parts of the series, and I'm about halfway through the 5th book, and there was another question posed, or a situation posed, where they're discussing how things should look going forward as far as I guess we'll say a governmental structure, a leadership structure, and it's a little different than what it used to look like, being our modern world that we live in today. And I find it interesting because I agree with the sentiment posed by Steve through his characters in this series. Going forward at this point, what the protagonist is talking about is having a leadership structure, governmental, if you want to call it that, a societal structure that is based on similar to how it was back in the 1700s. In that, people with better education, land ownership, more knowledge of how things work than the average pleb should be the ones who vote and make decisions and kind of, I guess in a way, we'll say control what happens, how society functions. And if you look back through history, you'll see, and that sounds, even though as I read it, just, and this is probably the brainwashing that's been happening to all of us, all of our lives, it sounded a little harsh, as I read it, but the more I thought about it, the more it makes sense. Because what happened in the early 1900s is you had all these groups that, all these, basically your woke groups starting up, your equitable groups, those folks seeking equity, where everybody gets a voice, everybody gets a shot, and what you get is you get filtered in with those who are informed, those who have skin in the game, if you will, and their decision making that is best not only for them but for society at large, where everybody knows the rules and everybody functions within those rules, and progress is made for all. You get the filtering in of people who have no clue of what they're doing, who they're voting for, other than they saw a sound bite, on TV. Oh, this guy, he says this, or, what a friend or relative says to them, and they go, oh, that sounds great. And they don't do any research for themselves. They don't own a business. They don't own land. They don't, they don't have any, or they don't have as much, or any skin in the game, as it were. You think about where we are today, where society expects us to believe that men can become pregnant, which we know what that is. That's not men, first of all. A man, biological man, cannot become pregnant. Where they want you to believe that any gender or that there's multiple unending genders, and that, I mean, just that on its face is insane to me, and then couple in just all the other things, climate change, the big worry that it isn't, just all of the varying political leanings, all of the varying topics that are supposed to be important according to society and those who are selling this stuff. But to reasonable folks, we realize this stuff is not important. In fact, it's ridiculous. It's taking your eyes off the bigger prize, which is the safety and security and stability of our nation, that many before us have worked so hard to maintain. So I am of the mindset that a reset, such as what takes place in Stonemont, in the Stonemont series, a reset in that society breaks down as it was. There is no governmental function as it was. There is no, technology is reduced dramatically by a couple hundred years in a lot of ways. And it simplifies things, and it allows, in the book, for the characters, it allows them to come up with ways that are simpler ways, more truly fair and equitable ways, but not at the expense, of safety and security and well-being. In fact, like I say, they are carrying on in such a way that is truly going to improve the lives and the safety and readiness and preparedness of those who are willing to participate in a functioning society. So, as hard as it would be, and it would be for all of us, it would be hard. It would be quite an adjustment stage, and many would not make it. But as hard as it would be, I believe a reset would be the best thing for us going forward. And to that end, to that statement rather, I believe we're going to see it, whether we want to or not. As hard as we may realize it's going to be, I believe we're going to see it. Just a little thing, some things to think about, ladies and gentlemen. If you hang around, we're going to a birthday party, a friend of Little RWP's, and this place serves pizza. So guess what? RWP's probably going to do a pizza review, and that, if I do, it'll be out a little later. So go check out Steve Smith at Integrated Preparedness and American Reversion. Check out his books. They're available on Amazon. It's the Stonemont series. Check me out on Patreon. Obviously, subscribe here if you're not already on YouTube. I'm also over on the Telegram. So, appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys listening to what I have to say. Tell me what you think about this topic in the comments. See you later.